the Iceblade Sorcerer episode 3. And I actually have to say a lot of things about this episode, although I don't know if it's going to be a long or short review, but yeah, so many interesting things happen in this episode that I actually want to speak about. And I guess the first thing I want to speak about is that of Ray's personality. I know I said it in the last episode, but even more in this episode, we see that his personality is actually that of a person that is really mature. You don't actually get to see that many protagonists in the world of anime that behave like him. He's actually a really unique character. He has a really interesting way of words. It could all be because of the way he was raised up, because we have had hints here and there that he actually grew up sort of training in the military, surrounded by a lot of strong people, by a lot of caring people. I guess in a way that is what the episode is trying to tell us, or more specifically trying to show us. It is trying to show us Ray's way of handling himself. We see him interact with all sort of people. We see that he doesn't shy away from saying good things to a girl. He says it and doesn't even think too much of it. I know I'm giving too much focus on this part of the episode, but in reality, we saw that from the beginning to the end of the episode. It is actually a really important part of the episode. But now going into the main part of the episode, or I should say the action focused part. We saw that the beginning of this episode was the continuation of the fight that we saw at the end of the last episode. I was speculating in the last episode review if the Iceblade Sorcerer, in this case Ray, was going to defeat the monster alone. I was actually wondering and theorizing about that, but we actually see that that is not the case. We actually see that he basically got help from his friends. So yeah, in a way that actually helped him because he didn't blow up his cover. His true powers, I guess you can say, were not shown to the other people. So yeah, in a way that is actually a really good thing for him, that he didn't actually defeat the monster alone, that the other people were there to help him. We actually see that he was actually about to use his Iceblade Sorcerer powers when his friends intervened. So yeah, like I said already, he was about to blow his cover. Although I don't know if he didn't use them because he couldn't use them or because his friends intervened. It is not explained. I would assume it is the second or first. I don't remember what order I said them, but I would assume that it is because his friends were there and intervened. But it was almost hinted later on in the episode that he may not have his, I guess you can say, full powers as of right now, because when he's speaking to his master Lydia, she mentions that it will take 5 years to recover. I think she's speaking about his powers, but at the same time, she also mentioned that, well, there is going to come a time that he has to use his forbidden power, or that he will be allowed to use his forbidden power. So I don't know exactly what she meant by that. There's still a lot of mystery surrounding the Iceblade Sorcerer, you know, the nature of his powers and what he could do with it. We didn't exactly get answers in this episode about that. I guess you can say it makes it even better because it makes reviews like this better, because we get to speculate, we get to talk about it, we get to theorize. So yeah, Lydia also mentioned that she was actually studying engram, which, if I'm remembering correctly, I think it is the study of the brain and how the brain basically saves the information or decoding information about sorcery and things like that. Engram is the mechanism, is the way, or is the place where memories are saved. I think that is how it was explained. I don't know if I'm correct or not. And she also mentions that there are people trying to do that same, but not in a very ethical way. We heard her say that there are bad people. Of course, there are always going to be bad people, but she says that they are doing the research in a bad way. They are doing basically, I cannot say the word because YouTube doesn't allow it, but you know, the word that starts with an E and with a U. They are doing that, and maybe that is exactly what is happening at the end of the episode, because we see our Ray's enemy or main antagonist, whatever you want to call it, being in a way manipulated by the hooded man, the hooded girl. Like I said already, maybe that is what is happening to him, that they're using the research that Lydia is doing. Well, not exactly her research, but the method of research in a bad way against Al, or in Al. I mean, we already knew that he was going to eventually fall to the dark side, if you can call it like that. And yeah, this episode clearly demonstrated that he's already there, that he's either being used or in the brink of being used. So I mean, he's going to become an enemy in the future, maybe even in the next episode, who knows. The episode also gave a lot of focus on the Sorcerer Swordsman tournament, the Swordsman tournament that is upcoming, that apparently a lot of people are going to participate. It was explained by Ray that he is going to participate, but behind the scenes. I don't know what exactly he meant by that. I don't know if he's going to enter disguise or something like that, or if he meant that he was going to be in the stands, cheering his friends or something like that. Maybe he's actually going to do that. Maybe he's not going to participate physically in the tournament, but he meant it in that way, that he's going to cheer Amelia or whoever participates in the tournament. So yeah. And speaking about Amelia, when she was hanging out with Ray, she mentioned very briefly, I mean, she didn't mention because she got interrupted by the spider, but she was trying, I guess, to say that if she could hang out with Ray, maybe she could actually do something. I don't know where she was heading with that. Maybe she could actually show her true powers. Or maybe she just meant that she could actually be just herself and fall in love with Ray or something like that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm giving it too much attention when it is not worth talking about. But I mean, I wanted just to mention it because who knows, maybe it is actually important. But yeah, that was the episode. The episode basically focused around the mystery surrounding this hooded guy. And the monster at the beginning, and also basically the sweet talker Ray throughout the whole episode and things like that. We also see that nobody is starting to believe Ray's story, that he's just from a village, from the forest. Even Evie himself in this episode also started to doubt that story. But yeah, that was everything for me, and I guess I'll see you all in the next episode review.